Hi everyone, I'm Raji from Crime Library Singapore. Today we have Mr. Julian Tan from Moneylending Association of Singapore. He has been a school teacher for the last 10 years and decided to leave the job to help his father expand the business. Okay, Mr. Tan will now tell us the difference between licensed money lenders and loan sharks. Hi, Mr. Tan.
Hi.
Okay, can you tell us the difference between people borrowing money from licensed money lenders and loan sharks?
Alright, for a start, loan sharks usually do cold calls and SMSs and inciting people to come take a loan with them.
Okay.
Alright, and the second thing is that they will ask for your personal details, alright, such as your IC, your full name, and what your job you're doing. And also they'll ask for your bank account number where you will transfer the money across. Now, the big difference between a loan shark and a money lender is that in order to take a loan from a licensed money lender, you have to go to a physical premises in order to take a loan. That's the first key thing.
The reason being?
The reason is that you need to have a face-to-face verification that we are giving the loan to the person that is on the IC.
Okay.
Alright, so when you have your proof of identification and your proof of income, you can have a look at your face and you know that you are indeed the person you are dispersing the loan to. So one of the key things that on top of that is that you should be, when you go to a physical premises, you should also get a contract for the loan.
There will be a contract?
There will be a contract. So you should be provided with a contract indicating how much loan you have taken and who you have taken with and the repayment structure.
Payment, okay.
Okay?
Right.
Now, on top of that, when you want to go to a physical premises, always make sure that you go to a credible website to search whether this is a licensed money lender. See, the reason is because a lot of licensed loan sharks masquerade as licensed money lenders. Alright? And when they do that, in their SMSs or when they call to you, they will share the actual genuine licensed money lender's address.
They do?
They do.
Oh, okay.
Alright. So you got to be mindful about that. They will go as far as to tell you where the location is and who you should be looking for, even though the person is not there.
Okay.
So what happens is that when these borrowers actually go to the actual physical premises of this licensed money lender, and you go there and ask if this so and so person is there, and then only when you find out that if such a person is no longer there, the charade is over. And usually by then, the loan shark will cut short the communication with that individual.
Okay.
So, back to the earlier point, as I said, one of the main important points how to differentiate a licensed money lender and a loan shark. Number one, licensed money lenders do not do SMSs and cold calls.
Okay.
Second, in order to get a loan from a genuine licensed money lender, you have to go to a physical premises.
Okay. So along the way you said that loan sharks can do online transaction. So that means if I want to borrow money from a loan shark, I will just have to give somebody's IC number and address, and actually I get a loan.
That's right.
Oh wow.
And unfortunately for whoever the individual may be whose IC was being abused, he gets into trouble with the loan shark.
So police will never be able to find?
I can't comment on that. It's a bit hard because that would be under the jurisdiction of the police.
Okay. Now, how long has Moneylenders Association on Singapore has been in operation? 2 years? In 2016?
It's been around for 12 years.
12 years?
Yes.
12 years. Oh wow. Because we gather that you have been actively involved in the year 2016 onwards. More
That's right.
Actively involved. Okay. Can you tell us that who are your partners? Like which partners you work with closely during campaigns and roadshows?
Currently, we are working with the Ministry of Manpower. Okay, we have a booth at their roadshows and their workers' recreational centres. This happens every month. We take the opportunity in those roadshows to educate the foreign workers about being abetting to a crime for these loan sharks, such as selling off their SIM cards or trading their ATM card in bank books for cash.
Why do they do that?
Well, very simple. in the circumstances, if the police was able to catch them tracing their phone by the cold calls and such, you'll trace it according to who owns the SIM card. And unfortunately, these individuals have sold off their SIM card. The police will be looking for them.
Okay.
Second, if they use their bank books and the ATM cards, they can transfer and accept cash from the borrowers themselves without any trace back to the original person who's actually giving out the loan.
Is there a cap people can borrow money from Moneylenders Association of Singapore? Like, is there a cap like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000?
All right.
Is there a cap?
Okay, under the regulations, just to clarify, Moneylenders Association of Singapore cannot give out any loans. Only the members as licensed moneylenders can give out the loans. Under the regulations, anybody whose income is below $2,000, as of now, can borrow up to $3,000. Anyone from above $20,000 to $30,000 can borrow up 2 times their salary. $30,000 to $120,000, they can borrow up to 4 times the salary. Anything above $120,000, there's no cap on the amount that you can borrow.
Okay, we will have this caps and all that in our crime library after this interview. Okay. Mr. Tan, what are your challenges faced in Moneylenders Association of Singapore with people?
I think the biggest issue right now that moneylenders in Singapore are facing is public perception. The big problem here lies is that many people in Singapore are unable to identify who is a licensed moneylender and who is a loan shark. Now the problem stems about because moneylenders cannot advertise in many channels. For example, we are only allowed to advertise on the 4 walls of a premises, on a website, or through directory listings. Although the regulations dictate such things, loan sharks, however, exist outside the law. So this regulation doesn't apply to them. Now, so their marketing presence is actually much bigger than what licensed moneylenders have. And as a result, the public themselves are more familiar with what the loan sharks are. Now, as I said earlier, loan sharks masquerade as licensed moneylenders. So the majority of the public will view that, these individuals are licensed moneylenders and this is how they advertise and how they conduct their business.
Okay.
The unfortunate thing behind all this is that because of this mass proliferation and marketing created by the loan sharks themselves, people can't differentiate who is the licensed moneylender.
What I'm going to do right now is to show a few videos where we actually uploaded into our website, webpage. And I would like you to comment or give us how people can identify a loan shark and a licensed moneylender.
Sure.
Let's have a look at the video. Number 1 will be this. So this one, you think it's a licensed moneylender will do such a thing, or this is by loan sharks torching fire to?
Well, clearly this is the act of a loan shark, mainly because there's a code of conduct for licensed moneylenders to follow in terms of debt collection. Vandalism is clearly not part of that regulations. We are clearly not allowed to vandalize, we're not allowed to use a string of profanity and cause any form of harm, physical harm to the individual or to their property.
Okay. Sometimes even I receive messages like SMS messages that we are giving credit loans. I do receive messages like, even in WhatsApp, if I'm not mistaken, I've received about 2 WhatsApp, like unknown number, that we are offering credit loans for a lesser percentage. Now, I'm going to show a voice recorded message because one of our friends had this, apart from this video, had the same experience where she thought that easy credit, something cheaper loan to borrow money, and she was having dire need for money. So let's hear this. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you is, she actually also approached the SMS, she replied to the SMS and she wanted to borrow money. And then she had a similar situation where she didn't want to come forward, actually. Similar situation where she received such abusive messages. She actually did pay up the $200 she borrowed. So how do we address SMSs that we receive? Like, like you said, these are all the method they choose to market themselves. Do Moneylenders Association do SMS marketing?
Okay, just to clarify the point here, Moneylenders are not allowed to do cold calls or SMSs, alright? So that first thing will indicate any cold calls and SMSs that you receive on your handphone are by loan sharks. Now, in these circumstances, about the profanity that was spotted out by this loan shark, Moneylenders are not allowed to use such profanities because it's not part of our code of conduct and it's not ethical. And lastly, it does not express our professionalism in our industry. In the circumstances, they feel threatened and feel coerced into making payment to the loan sharks. All right, and if they should be distressed because of this, they can actually seek the help of the voluntary welfare organization. MLAS works with 4 VWOs, okay, which are the voluntary welfare organizations. These 4 are Silver Lining, Blessed Grace, Adulam, and Arise to Care. So if anybody who is distressed with loan shark harassment, they can actually seek the assistance of these 4 VWOs. You can actually find their contact on our directory extension of MLAS, which is loanmatch.sg. So in case you need any help, you can also contact MLAS if you're not certain where to find their contact.
Great. Now what are the challenges that MLAS face in terms of foreign workers? Meaning a lot of foreign workers in Singapore are in need of do have financial difficulties. So if they come to MLAS for help, what do they need, or how do you do screening, or how do you help them?
Okay, one of the key things is that for money lenders, all right, each money lender have their own conduct and business practices in determining who they can give the loan to. Some lenders do give out loans to foreigners, some lenders do not. Okay, so it's depending on their risk appetite. But in the circumstances, if a foreigner ever needs to take a loan, again, like any local who wants to take a loan, they must come to a physical premises with their proof of identification and proof of income. That's a prerequisite in order to take a loan with a money lender. The key thing here is that for any foreigners who are concerned about who they're taking the loan with, they should always check against the loanmatch.sg or the list of money lenders on MinLaw website. And from there, they should see that check against the address and go to that physical address to take the loan.
Okay. There is this thing like this guy has taken loan, and then to pay up that loan, he takes from B, and then to pay up that loan, he takes from C. So do you face that kind of scenario in your association?
It is not unheard of that such borrowers do exist. However, it is important, and also as all lenders, we should always advise our customers, okay, to practice financial planning. In these circumstances, it's clearly that this individual is unable to plan out his finances. In these circumstances, he should also seek the help of the VWs in case or other credit counseling companies to seek to assist them with their credit in case they are in fear that they will go into debt.
Okay. Do you also help such people for financial planning? Do you also extend that service?
For myself, yes. All right. And there are circumstances where I have customers who are unable to determine how much they should be taking, or for that matter, even taking the loan. So it boils down to having good practices as a money lender on determining whether we should be giving out a loan to an individual or because sometimes when we give a loan to an individual, you might be increasing his risk exposure, his credit exposure.
Yes.
All right. But at the same time, we have to be conscious that if you don't give the loan to this person, his credit exposure might be even higher. Because if he's unable to pay his loan or his debt for that matter, it could be even worse. So we have to do, for all lenders, right, it is important we have to do our due diligence to do a credit assessment. And from there, we can determine whether the individual will be in a better position with taking the loan or not taking the loan.
Well, Mr. Julian, would you like to share with the public your expertise and your advice for people who has monetary problems and are seeking to avenues to borrow money, and most of them definitely will think of loan sharks because they get money quickly? What will your advice be?
Well, the first key thing I think everybody should know is that if you always go to a physical premise to take a loan, that is the most important thing. Never ever take loans over the phone or online. Never share any personal information of yourself, like your NRIC, your address, or your bank's account number through the handphone or internet. Third, if you're not certain where a licensed moneylender can be found, okay, or a genuine licensed moneylender can be found, go to our directory listing, which is loanmatch.sg, or you can also go to the MLAS website and search under the word list of moneylenders. From there, you can identify where their physical locations are, and you can proceed to those moneylenders to take a loan. Third, one of the most important things is this for all borrowers. I think it's very important they should be very clear about their financial planning. Ensure that they are able to pay any loan that they're going to take. And also, in the circumstances, is that they do not take more loans beyond the repayment ability. So that means you should also account for your monthly expenses before you consider taking another loan. A bad habit which should be discouraged is to take a loan to compensate for a debt. And in turn, the loan becomes a new debt. So that's where the problem lies. So it's important that before you take any loan, take consideration of your financial planning first. And at any point of time, if you go to a lender and you feel that you're not comfortable to take a loan, do not take the loan. You're not obligated to take the loan at that point of time.
Thank you, Mr. Julian Tan, and thank you for coming to raising our request. Mr. Julian Tan from Monetary Association of Singapore, and you can always ask us questions when in our Crime Library Singapore, and we will give you contacts how to contact him for further advice. Along the way, we would like to ask, what is your thought about Crime Library Singapore? What do you feel about us? Any comments?
Absolutely. I think it's fantastic that Crime Library Singapore exists. You know, it's in so many words, I think you are contributing a benefit to our country. Through your actions, your patriotism, making Singapore a better place to live. And it shows that the importance of having a community help. You know, it's symbolic of your that, you know, your efforts, right, bring a community together and make Singapore a better place to live.
Well, thank you very much. Signing off from here is Raji from Crime Library Singapore. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for having me.